Good morning. Dewo to all of you. Dewo is an Igbo Nigerian word that means long life to all of you. For those of you who do not know what it means, that is what I hope and pray for any one of you, wherever you are, gathered underneath the sound of my voice. Welcome. So good to have you here. And most importantly, it is good to know that you are walking amongst the living just as I am. What a blessing it is. What a blessing it is. I've been gone for a little while. I went to uh, Florida, just trying to catch up with some things. And going to Florida, I visited my daughter at the University of Florida. It was wonderful to visit her, Kelena. And it was also joyful because I took my grandsons, Amoha and Ikena, with me. All those little rascals. It was just so much fun. We went to different places, Science Center, Halloween events. It was just wonderful. We had a wonderful time. You know, you really, all of us, we must make time for family as much as possible. You know, time is not guaranteed to any one of us. So every moment is precious. And so use it and reconnect with those you have not connected with for a while. And also, you know, whichever time you can spend with family as much as possible. It is so important. In spite of everything that we have to do in life, let's make some time for that. Welcome to my special segment of Ndumodu. And for those of you who don't know, Ndumodu is Igbo Nigerian for words of wisdom that I share with you, and you can add to your basket of inspirational thoughts and words that you already have. You know, you can never collect too many, so I hope you collect some today. Today is my talking drum segment. This is when I get the opportunity to speak with you one-on-one, with no guests, just me and you. And I enjoy both when I have guests and also when I get a chance to speak with you. I would like to take a moment today and just thank and congratulate rather everyone out there who's making wonderful things happen in spite of the challenges. Yeah, there's so many people who are not feeling very well. My dear friend Brooke, who's also PR manager, director. She is, you know, that's one spicy, spry young woman. She has challenges, but it doesn't stop her. My daughter Adora, same thing. You know, it's always good to look up to those people who, yeah. They may be going through challenges, but they don't let it hold them down. So congratulations to all of them who are making it happen in spite of. And I'd like to encourage the new mothers. I know I got some mail today for letting me know that there's some new babies that come into this world. So congratulations to all those powerful mothers who have brought forth life today, yesterday, and in a very near future. Thank you for helping the world to build. We are grateful. And I also want to thank all those who are taking time out of the busy schedule to go visit the nursing homes, go visit the elders, or just help out those who are struggling. You know, it's a world that requires all of us to play a role. So thank you for all of that, all that you do. And I also want to encourage you. And there are many places in the world that they are going through challenges, but they are voting. They're getting a chance to vote for new leadership. I caution you that you must pull away. I think this is the time to pull away from the news media. Yeah, this is the time for you to make your own decisions, for you to not allow anyone to deter you from a position that you've already taken. Don't pause now. You must be out there. Go and vote. But make sure that you know exactly what you're voting for, who you're voting for, what do they stand for, because it's critical. You know, they make decisions that that impact our lives. You know, so it is so important that you're not a sidebar. You know, you're not somebody who just sits around and watch other people do the work, and then you take the glory afterwards. Make sure that you are part of the work. Go and vote. I cannot overestimate the importance of voting. So I just want to take a moment today and just tell you, please, if you have not done so, you know, they still have an early voting in Georgia. If you live in Georgia, it is so important that you go out there and vote Now that you missed the early voting, don't forget November 8th. You must be out there. Go and vote, and take somebody with you. If you know somebody who wants to vote but they don't know how to get there, or somebody who refuses to vote, please make sure. If you're in Nigeria, pick the right candidate, because the wrong candidate is going to impact your life negatively. Just look around the country and see where we are, and see if we can continue in the path that we're going to. I can't tell you who to vote for. That's your right to determine that. But please make sure you check them out. Check out who you're calling your representatives, either as state senators or congressmen or president. Make sure that they mean every good for you. So that's just my little pep talk before we go into it. Let me, just make the statement, and I'm sure many of you will agree that occasionally, when you get into the arena, it may not be pleasant, and we start complaining, lamenting, about what's wrong, what's not going well. But every journey takes one step at a time. Remember that, and I said this earlier in the introduction on Facebook. If you want to get on an airplane, you must get out of the house, into your car, drive to the airport, then enter the plane. You cannot wish anything to happen if you're not willing to take the first step. It always takes that initial step to get anywhere, and you must be about that. You must understand that no matter what's going on, if you're to solve it, you must begin. And you must begin somewhere. So if you find there's a lot of obstacles in your way, rise. It is not a reason to quit. Never quit because it gets tough. Never quit because those who go to war, if they quit just because it got tough, the war is lost. So it's important to assume that every day you're going to war, and you must come out victorious. Don't quit along the way. Discover what steps necessary to get you around the obstacles that you face. Beginning the journey up to the mountain top is not easy. I am not speaking to you just because of my psychology background, my educational training and all of that. I'm speaking to you based on life experiences. God knows I'm going to tell you, I've been through some things in my life, and many of you as well. But then many of you have overcome, as I have. As I have. You're not even, probably, if I asked you to write down some of the great minds that you know that have overcome challenges, would you know? Would you know? It's probably important that you take the time and visualize, either visualize it or write it down, and familiarize yourself with those who have been in the same shoes as you've been in. But somehow they overcame their challenges. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Albert Einstein. He had difficulty in the first 3 years of his life. He couldn't even speak. He had no speech, no voice. He couldn't articulate anything. So everybody assumed that he was retarded, if I use that expression. Mental challenges. They thought he was a lazy man, and they thought that possibly he was not going to be a credit to humanity. But we all know the history. He is one of the greatest minds of our time, one of the most intelligent minds of our time. You don't have to be an Einstein to be successful in life. To overcome adversity, you just need to be willing to know what to do, to learn what to do. So for some of us, it's an we have the innate proclivities to solve problems. Some of us, but many of us don't. But that is no reason why you can't find solutions. Sometimes our challenges are based on experiences, or maybe even something somebody has said to us. Somebody may have convinced us we're not good enough, we can't do it. And the tragedy is we buy into it. We believe that we can do it. I don't know how many of you watched the movie Forrest Gump. That's my favorite all-time movie, believe it or not. He said that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. This is true. You never know, because quite frankly, you could be so engaged with how positive your day is starting, and then you get out the door, and what do you have? Something happens and you fall apart. Life will always happen to you. And I think it's something that we need to put in our heads. Life will happen. Bet on that. If there's something that you can bet on, it's that life will happen to you. You don't know when or how, but it will happen to you. Life will hand you something. Sometimes some things you can handle. Sometimes things you think you can't handle. And that's the problem, when you think you can't handle it. But the bottom line is, it would happen. So consequently, you should be always prepared for the good and also for the bad, the good, and the ugly. Any one of those may happen to you. But there's so much joy also. So you need to take stock of the joy and also the discomfort. The discomforts sometimes come from physical pain, as you well know. It could come from getting injured. It could come from falling. It could come from anything. So there's so many reasons for each one of us to experience life's hurts. But the important thing is, if you fall, very honestly, that is why I really admire children. Children fall. I think we parents, we get all bent out of shape because a child fell from, fell down and bruised their knee or whatever. They seem to always bounce back. That's what it should be. We did that. All of us did that when we were children. We bounced back. So when life as adults happen to us, we need to know how to bounce back. But for some of us, unfortunately, the sad thing is that from early on in our lives, we're not necessarily shown how to manage the pain, how to address the issues. Often, we are given something, maybe pills, Tylenol, whatever, something that will take care of the pain in the immediate time, but not necessarily something that would teach us how to solve it permanently, just temporarily. And so many of us can solve problems temporarily, but not long term. And that's what I want to talk about. How do you solve your challenges long term? Because when we solve things temporarily, the big deal is internal. It's not on the surface. It's internal, so it continues to expand within, because we're not solving what's happening internally. We're solving what's happening on the surface. That's what we're managing. And because we're doing that, we really don't have long-term solutions. And that's what we have to do. We have to learn not to just temporarily solve, but long-term, momentary relief. Yes, we need to know how to do that as well. But it is important that we know what is the source of our pain, so that it does not become a malignancy and spread. I'm resistant to taking Tylenol and things of that nature, even though it solves my pain temporarily. But what torments us physically, mentally, or emotionally cannot be solved with just simple painkillers. It can only be solved if we actually go in and try and solve it. So our challenges become teaching tools and opportunities. And so that once you're experiencing something that's bothersome, don't just try to cover it up and fix it. Find out what is wrong. You can learn through investigation what's causing your problems. All of us know that if we stick our hands into the fire, it burns our fingers. And once your fingers are burned, for the most part, you're not going to do it again. Children learn that fast. Even though you cover it with painkillers or whatever, you have learned that if you do it again, you're going to be burned again. So what experiences does, it talks to your mind and reminds you that this is not what you want to do. It's not good for you. So even after you solve the temporary, you have temporary solution. It's not good for you if you repeat it again. You learn something. Go beyond the surface. This is happening to me. Why is it happening? Maybe something that you're doing is not benefiting you. The temporary solution is not the solution. That's what the word says. It's temporary. You must not continue doing it, because if it is not in your best interest, it doesn't help you with positive growth. It doesn't help you in matters of survival. So just don't do something that's going to solve your problem in the immediate circumstances. Immediately, something is causing your pain. As a matter of fact, there's an African Igbo proverb that says, "If one would walk that you, when you have a sore on your foot, the flies bother you. They circle around the sore. Now you can cover the sore, but unless you heal that sore, the flies will come back over and over. So whatever the problems you're having, find the source of it and correct it. What pain does to you is it weakens your mind. It cripples your mind. It makes you, I just want to get away from it. You don't always spend the time finding out what's causing the pain. What angle should you take to make sure that you don't experience it again? The best life affirming policy is that you always know what caused my situation. How did I get here? If you're entangled in a relationship that's not working, how did you get there? Is it working? If he or she buys you something fancy, does it solve the problem? You can never solve anything on a temporary basis. Always find out why you're not doing well. If you're not having a good relationship with a man or a woman or a friend or something, what's causing it? Don't just shrug it off. Try to figure it out. Figure out what's causing it. Something that will be more effective, so that if it rears its ugly head again, you know what to do. But if you don't try and solve the source of your pain, the source of your problem, it will come back over and over and over. See, we build habits. Human beings are creatures of habit. We build habits. And what are those habits? Those habits become a behavioral pattern. It can become a persistent way of us doing things, thinking, a way to respond to things when they happen to us. It could be very well be those things that we're doing, those habitual things that we're doing could be the root of the pain. But if you're not assessing it, addressing it, trying to find out what is causing things that are happening to you, you will keep doing it and it will keep happening. When you have had an experience long enough that causes you hardship, acknowledge what that experience is and make sure that you figure out how to solve it so it doesn't continue, or it doesn't become a habit, or your habits don't continue to make those experiences recur over and over and over. It really doesn't matter the nature of your pain. It really doesn't matter. Don't focus on the pain itself. Yes, you can do the temporary thing, but focus on how do I move into the new light? How do I move out of this darkness I'm in? How do I turn on the light? Where is the light? Many of us during the pandemic, we really discovered where the light is. Many of us were stressed out even before the pandemic because we're engaged in things that cause turmoil, going places, mingling with people who cause turmoil in our lives. But we discovered something during the pandemic, that all those things that we were part of was not necessary. It's not even what makes life exciting. Some of us found that we had to go inwardly to find out what are the other options that we need to engage in life, like reading, engaging family, playing games, writing books. There were so many books written during the pandemic. Some of it, though, I was reading one interesting book, and it's talking about how the pandemic changed her life, brought her and her family closer together. So some of the stresses that she had before the pandemic, it was during the pandemic that she was able to slow down and internalize and go inside. Started doing yoga, walking, having conversations with family, preparing fancy meals, all that sort of thing. Things that she didn't do when she was part of the world all the time, before she had to forcefully slow down. That happened to some of you. So some of the stresses that you had was because you're not paying attention to what was causing your pain. Every day you went and you were part of that pain. You go because you don't know what's causing it. You just kept being a part of it. And some of you were people, even some of the places that you worked, you found that those places being away from them kind of mellowed you a little bit, made your life a little bit easier. Now I have to admit, for some people, they couldn't wait to get out of the house because some of them had the responsibility of taking care of kids, and that just was, oh my goodness, they were so glad when the schools opened. I know that, But nonetheless, if you were able to engage with yourself during the pandemic, you probably went inwardly and found out there are some things you do not need. Some of the things that cause pain, find out what they are and get rid of them. And develop a positive mindset is another way of dealing with challenges. Find out, number one, what's causing it, and have the mindset that you can overcome whatever it is. There's nothing worse than thinking that everything that's happening to you is for the purpose for destroying you. Not everything happening to you is for your destruction. Much of what happens to you, quite frankly, is to teach you something. So you have to develop that mindset. Be optimistic. Even when the times are difficult, even then you're looking at things that are challenging to you. Don't allow those things to make you think that it's all over. This is how it's supposed to be. No. I mean, I'm not suggesting that when things happen to you, you should just put it aside. You've got to be realistic, of course. You have to see things as they are, definitely. But you can't view everything with a negative mindset. All that will do is make you see things, everything as bad. It wouldn't even let you see what's going on that you can take something positive out of. Like I said earlier, go internally, look at what's causing it. If everything is so negative, then you assume that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you don't do anything to correct it. Reality is, negative things will happen. You go to deal with those things. I'm not here trying to paint a roses for everything. There are some things that it will bring you down. It will depress you, such as health. Health challenges can be quite depressing. But you can't just take the word of the doctor that, your life is gone. Until you're 6 feet under, you have to keep doing whatever it is you can do that our body allows you, or the power, the strength you give your body to do. Keep doing it until it's over. Have some positive opportunity for your mind. Because you give your mind the opportunity to think positively, then it has positive opportunities. But if all you do is give it negative thought. That's all it's going to do. It will hand to you negativity. And quite frankly, that's what you draw to yourself. Push pessimistic thoughts out of your and attitudes away so that you can focus on just finding ways to solve some of the challenges that you find yourself in. Am I suggesting to you that I'm always positive? No, not necessarily. I've had times of just, oh my God, who has not had it? You know, throw up your hand in the air. Oh, I'm tired of this. I'm fed up with this, blah, blah. Oh yeah, we've all had that. But I'm telling you, make that a temporary thing, not a permanent way of thinking. Adversity will happen. Life will happen to you. You can't get away from that. You absolutely, as a matter of fact, it's not a good thing that no adversity happens to you, because how do you learn? How do you learn what not to do? So whenever you find that you are consumed by negative thoughts about anything, try to create some positive way of thinking. If you're thinking about, oh, I don't have enough money, I'll never get it, I'll never have enough money, instead of saying, well, I don't have money, I can't do it. Instead, say, okay, so how do I get the money? Certainly don't do anything that'll cause you, that'll end you in jail, of course, but there are always ways to make money. Always ways to make money. So instead of giving up and saying, I don't have any money, ask yourself, what do I need to do to make money? And sometimes the money that you make doesn't come to you immediately. It may take a while, but as long as you've gotten yourself out of thinking, because I don't have money, then that's it. That means I remain poor. As long as you can talk yourself out of that and find other way, sooner or later, you'll find that you're not poor. There are situations that will block your way of getting out of poverty. I know that. But then again, you ask yourself, necessity is the mother of invention. Everything that we have today is because somebody saw a problem and solved it. So if you can find a way to solve your financial, you may not become a millionaire, but you may find a way. Either you have some talent that you can market, something to pay just even the simple as bills. That's what you have to do. And you will always remind yourself, I've been there, done that. I've been here before. As long as you're alive, you have been through some things. You're not here today because everything is rosy. No. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, well, haven't I been here before? And how did I get out of it? You know you can do this. You know you can do this. So that's what you have to do. Get your head out of negativity. Some of us just live there. For some of us, that's just the way to be. For some of us, that's just the way to be. The positive things, Brooks says, the positive things I think we all learn despite how difficult it's been. So much art and so much music. There's just so much that we can learn in life. Brooks says, take personal inventory. Yes. Take personal inventory. What is it that you've done in the past that has enabled you to come out of an adversity? As I said earlier, all of us have been through it. Nobody can say that they have not been through challenges. As a matter of fact, you got where you are today because of challenges, because you learned through your challenges what to do and what not to do. And that's how come you got this far. Because if you stayed on what was negative, that could have killed you. But even though you look at yourself, you think, oh, life is so hard, this is what is me. You're here because you have made some decisions, some positive decisions, some correct and right decisions along the way. That's why you're here. Truly, that's why you're here. And another thing that all of us do is we make situations very stressful because we internalize it so much that we don't find any fun, any humor in it. It doesn't hurt to look at the situation and see, yeah, there are these difficult aspects of it, but find some fun along the way. Use your humor to overcome some tough situations. Now, I'm not suggesting that something that's negative, like death, there's any humor in death. Of course, no, that's not funny. But even in death, even when you lose someone, just when you remember the positive person that individual was, or the positive impact they had in your life, or some of the positive things that you did with them, it allows you to find some humor, to laugh, because of the remembrance of the good times you had with that person. It helps to eliminate some of the stress of loss. It helps to release some of the tension. And it also helps your brain to find some kind of way to manage the stress, to cope with what's happening. Instead of when you lose someone, I lost my mother and my father. Of course, life is such that I didn't expect them to live forever. But sometimes they say that time heals everything. Not necessarily. What time does is allows you not to focus on that loss, but to start evaluating the positive life the person lived. I could be taking a shower and I just remember how some of the songs my mother used to sing, and I just start singing it, and I just remember the fun we had when she sang the song, with some of the things that we did with dad. My dad was really silly. He did some silly things. So instead of me focusing on that loss, I start thinking about the positive life, the positive opportunities I had with that individual, the good times. So it's not necessarily that it heals. It just means that it converts your focus on something different. Your focus is no longer on that pain. The focus is now on the good times. Suppose you're at work and you have a problem that you have to deal with. Something negative had happened. You may have had something you were supposed to do for your boss, and but you couldn't get it done. Instead of saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to get fired today," instead what you do is you say, "Oh my goodness, isn't that just my luck today?" Laugh it off a bit and find out how to correct it. Because I tell you, if you find that you made a mistake at work and you focus on the mistake and know how to get around it, or even have a little humor about it, oh well, hey, it's happened to me before, but I got over it. Then you make it. It causes you so much stress that you can't even come out of that problem. I think I've told this story one time when I worked for my boss, Mabel Higgs. God love her. Mabel Higgs is 90. I think she just turned 96 or 97. And she's still as spry as she used to be. She was one formidable woman. I wanted so much to be like her. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to impress her because I wanted to someday sit behind a desk just like her. She was just a formidable figure and a good mentor. But one day I did a terrible thing, and that is I went and I didn't understand at that time that a woman's desk, if it looks disorganized, don't touch it. It doesn't mean that the mind is disorganized. That's just how it's the place. So anyway, I went there and I moved all her things, put them in the file, because I thought that it being on the table, was disorganized, and I just wanted to impress her by organizing it. Well, let me tell you, when she walked through that room and saw everything on her desk gone, I thought she was going to have a heart attack. And I thought I was going to have one too, because I just knew I did something wrong the way she gasped. I said, "Uwa, where are my papers?" And at that moment, trust me, I couldn't find humor in it. I lost all capacity to think. I froze. I couldn't remember where I put anything. I just stared at her. She stared right back at me. She was trying very desperately, I suppose I could say that word, not to lose her mind, not to lose her rags on me, because I disrupted everything she knew. And on top of that, I did not know what to do. I was frozen in place. I didn't see any humor, obviously. And because I was frozen, I couldn't think. So I couldn't find any of her papers. I didn't know where I put anything. But thank God for her. She says, "Uwa, just calm down. Just find it." Well, gradually, trust me, we stayed in the office longer than she had anticipated, finding all her stuff. But I tell you, after that, I was so sure that she was going to fire me that I didn't come into work the next day. I just knew I was fired. As a matter of fact, I just knew, oh my God, I have to look for another job. And then I got a call in the morning, and she said, "Oh, where are you?" I said, "What do you mean, where am I? Didn't you fire me?" She says, "No, I didn't fire you. Get back, get to work. I need you here immediately." Well, I got to work before my car did. I could not believe that she was willing to receive me back in her space after what I had done. But you see, what she did was she found a little humor in it. She understood that I was, I was stressed out and panicked, but she didn't react that way. Obviously, for obvious reasons, she's probably done this has happened to her before, and she knew that being calm will solve it. Not raving and ranting at me, that was not going to do it. So let me tell you though, I began to see a little bit more. I feel a little bit more comfortable. I wasn't stressed out anymore, but I started seeing that if I make a mistake again, don't assume anything. Just try and solve it. And I tell you, find a little humor in it, because she was laughing. She laughed her head off at the fact that the way I acted and the fact that I quit. I fired myself. She didn't even have to fire me. I fired myself. So so I say this to say to you that situations that happen and make you think all is lost may not necessarily be that. You just may have to have a different attitude how you deal with things when they happen to you. Have a little humor. Have some sense of humor around something. Let it not cause you to just give up. And you must always be prepared for adversity. And I think that's just the key right there. If you're prepared for something that's not so pretty to happen, then you're better able to handle it when it does happen. Particularly if you have something that you're looking forward to achieving and it didn't happen. I have something that I was looking forward to achieving. We had this grant, and I had something that was going to help me to get this grant, and unfortunately we didn't get the grant because of some delays that were unforeseen. But instead of me falling apart, I figured, well, we're just gonna have to try and do it a different way, as opposed to, it's the kind of thing that quite easily will make you want to just quit. I can't believe this. Make that a temporary situation. Make that a temporary a way to respond to situation, to adversity. Don't internalize it. Instead, what I want to do is find out what's causing the delay and deal with that, as opposed to giving up and getting angry. So if you expect something, not to work as you expected it, if you know there's something you're doing that you may have some difficulties, keep the faith that it will work, but just be prepared to overcome the adversity when it does happen. When it does happen, it's not the time that you quit. Maybe you have, as a matter of fact, I had a book that I published, and I had to republish it because I found some errors. You see, but I didn't fall apart, and I didn't get angry. It takes a lot of work to go over it again because of some errors that somebody made. It's hard work to write. And I was expecting it to go the way I wanted it to go, but it didn't quite work out that way. I found somebody found some errors, so I had to go back to one and find out the errors and make sure that when I do release it, it comes out perfect. You know, and, and when you do things, people may criticize you. You know, people may not have positive things to say about anything you're doing. You know, just be prepared for that. Don't ever get angry because, you know, somebody criticizes you or refuses to continue to support you or anything like that. Prepare for it. Because, you know, if somebody comes to your store, if you're selling something and somebody comes to your store and buys something, doesn't mean that they're going to come back again. They may not come back again. You don't internalize that and say, oh my God, they should keep coming. Maybe they found a product that's better than yours, or maybe they don't have the money to continue to spend. You know, there may be a lot of reasons why somebody quits supporting you. But don't draw the conclusion that it's out of wickedness. Even though, you know, sometimes we included, we draw the wrong conclusions. But you find that when you actually think about it, when you're prepared for criticism, when you're prepared for people to walk out of your life, then you have plan B. You don't just create plan A. Plan A will not serve you in every case. Plan A only works if you anticipate that nobody is going to ever leave you, or nobody's ever going to, you know, criticize you. You know, so whatever you have, that's it. This is all I've got, and that's all you expect. But sometimes people would not support you. People criticize you. People make fun of you. But you've got to be mentally prepared to take it. Survival of the fittest doesn't mean just somebody who has muscles. Survival of the fittest is those who have the mindset, the mental acumen to withstand adversity. So it's not just, you know, you may find that the most powerful person is not the one with the biggest muscles. You may well be the person who knows how to handle situations when they do happen. You know, you may find you may be shocked to see a puny person challenge a very tall and muscular person and somehow come out of it. A person who's short, puny, you better understand that they know that adversity will happen to them, and many of them prepare for it. And if they're prepared for it and they meet up with it, they know what to do. Instead of running away, they know what to do. So be prepared for adversity to come your way. And when it does, know that you can happen. You can manage it. The other thing, last thing I just want to share with you in terms of how to overcome adversity is learn from those who have gone through it. Learn from those who have gone through things. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I beg your pardon. You don't have to reinvent anything. There are people who have already been through things. You can learn from them. Find out who are those people. I told you about Einstein. You know, there are historical people who have gone through so much and they survived it. How did they do it? You know, how did they do it? You know, if you look at the lives of some of the presidents, you know, Franklin Roosevelt, some of the great women, Helen Keller, my father, my mother, Nelson Mandela, Les Brown. Look at all these people who have gone through some difficult, challenging things, and they've overcome it. They didn't quit. They didn't get to where they are because everything went well. Look at your family members. You have a family member that you see as a mentor who has achieved and overcome some challenges that made it all anyway. How about your colleagues? Do you have some people that you work with who have success stories that they can share with you that are inspirational, that can help you to keep pushing back, to keep fighting back, to not give up? Do you know such people? And you know, sometimes, I don't know how many of you do this, but I love fiction. I love fiction. Because fiction is not really based on real individuals. They're not real stories. But you can learn so much from that. During the war, when I was in Nigeria during the war as a child, I had to fight. I had to do all my work to make sure that I could get to the library. Because when you live in a world at that time that we had bombings and shellings, loss of life and ugliness of war, the only thing that helped me at the onset was the ability to go to the library, and read about far away lands, fiction, see how life was for those in fictional characters. How did they live their lives? What happened to them? How can I apply some of that? So it doesn't necessarily have to be people who are real life. Even characters in a book, in a fictional book, can really teach you quite a bit. You can see how they were able to overcome challenges. Something that you can connect with, something that will give you some semblance of connection and a way to solve your own problems, And if you're not doing it, you may want to do it. You may want to do it when people are sharing things with you. You may want to take advantage of some of these motivational speakers, because they have quite a bit to share. I consider myself a motivational speaker, and that's why I spend this kind of time to speak to people, to share thoughts, ideas, based on what I've gone through, how you can overcome. And I mentioned Les Brown before. If you don't know about Les Brown, you might want to read his backstory. He's a very successful man now. He had lots of challenges as a young man. David Goggins, I don't know if you know him. Eric Alexander. All these people have gone through some challenges. And if you listen to them, Oprah Winfrey came from Michelle Obama. There's so many of them. They are huge success stories now. But they have stories to tell. And you can learn from that. I want to, at this time, just kind of share a story. It is a story as far as I'm concerned. And some of you may have seen it already. But it starts off, it's a story about this beautiful young man, Ahmed Abdullahi. He's 6 years old, and he lives in Maiduguri, Nigeria. And to me, one of my greatest happiness is to not make excuses for why I can't do something. If I see that there's a need out there, instead of me sitting back and say, well, there's nothing I can do, I try to make sure that I give it something. I give my all, because wealth is not just monetary. Wealth is just like the happiness that you gain from doing things that help others. Even just a simple smile from somebody or thank you from somebody can really make your day. You make their day, but they don't realize they're making your day as well. The African Women Mobilization Commission, we have a program, the child sponsorship program, where we try to get people to sponsor individual children in Nigeria and help them. We have slated 100 kids. What might those 100 children who are languishing in dire straits right now, in IDPS camps, no parents, what might their lives be like if somebody sponsored them, somebody took the time to help them, to feed them, to clothe them, to send them to school? I'm so grateful to the National Director, Zainab Ahmed, National Director for Nigeria for OMSI, and Hajadab, who is a member of our board of directors that lives in Nigeria, and all the state directors and the sponsors here in the United States who are sponsoring these kids. I am just so grateful to them. I know that they are bringing smiles to your faces as they do mine. I mean, I just adore, what this has done for me, not just what we are able to do for them, but what they gain from being associated with us, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video, and it's a few minutes long, and it just tells you what happens when a group of people decide that they're not going to complain about what's not going right, but that they're going to put their heads together and help make somebody's life so much better. And if you're not a part of that, we're going to urge you to please be a part of it, be a part of change, make somebody happy. So I'm going to play this video and then I'll come back and finish our conversation.
First day, we went to the hospital. Good morning, good mother. Good morning, Omsi. Good morning to all good people that are donating to these children here in Maiduguri. I am Zainab Ahmed, the National Director of Nigeria, and I'm here with one of my beneficiaries, Ahmed Abdullahi. Ahmed Abdullahi is 6 years old. He's one of our beneficiaries here in Maiduguri, Borno State, and he's the first person to benefit from this feeding and schooling program. I'm here with Ahmed to discuss about our journey. From the first day we went to the hospital, I took him because he has ear infection. So Omsi took Ahmed to hospital. The doctors did a physical examination on Ahmed Abdullahi, and they have seen what is disturbing Ahmed. They wrote the medicine. We went to the medicine store, a pharmacy, to buy the drugs, and from there we went to market to buy clothing, shoes, toothpaste, soaps, at least to promote his personal hygiene, because he stay in the IDP camp. You know, IDP camp is congested. There are lots of diseases there. There are cholera, there are measles, all kind of diseases there. So at least Ahmed now is safe because he has all it takes to promote his personal hygiene. I want to share a story with you. This Ahmed you are seeing, there's a school close to Ahmed's house, and it's just some few kilometers from the school to Ahmed's house. So every morning, Ahmed will go to that school. He will stay at the gate. He will wait for the children in the school to close. Ahmed will follow them home. The mother will always follow Ahmed to the school and say, Ahmed, you are not in school. Why are you there? He said he wants to join school, but nobody to pay his school fees because he's an orphan and he's a refugee from Marte. So the mother would take Ahmed home. So the mother was narrating to me. Ahmed told her that, Mom, I'm going to get back to school, and I will study medicine, and I will buy a car for you. I will take you to Saudi Arabia. She said Ahmed had been telling her all sort of stories like this. Kagani Ahmed, kace in ka gama makaranta, zaka saya mamanka mota ba? Eh, ka kalle ke bara. Zaka saya mata mota ba? Aha, kuma zaka saya mata me? Kalle ke bara. Ha, he said you buy. Thank you. As you can see, this boy is sick. As you can see, he has ear problem. You can see he has lots of pulse in his ear. Maybe we'll arrange how we'll take care of it. Thank you. This is Ahmed Abdullahi, the 6 years old child that has ear problem. We came to their house now. We will be going to hospital now. This is Ahmed Abdullahi, and this is his mother. Me zaki fada? Ba Hausa? Ba Kanuri? I asked her what does she have to say to Omsi. She said it's like she couldn't speak Hausa, she couldn't speak Kanuri either. But I know you can see in her face she's happy that we are taking Ahmed to hospital. And this is where Ahmed is staying with his mother. Shikana, you know. Shikana.
Ahmed. Bude wannan. Bude hafi. Kane. Yawa. Kane.
Kai utara ko sama siya hawa. Sila siya. Hoy.
Kange sondina.
Kange mbay fille do kange. Sama siya. Na Hausa babu sai shi kan an bilare sama shi Hausa babu dauna babu sai Hausa sai Fulani.
Problem din ba kunnen shi ba. Yawan mura ne ya kawo wannan. Amma kunnen lafiya. Cikin kunnen ba? Lafiya. Yawan mura shine ya kawo wannan.
Cotton slightly.
To shi kumbura ne shi kumbura wannan ne ke kawo.
Kumbura din shi ma zai wannan
Agalawa.
Ba agalawa din ba ma akwai wani cutar da ana ce mishi mumps. To shine. Ba kama cikin kunne lafiya.
Bari a kira mutum ya marke zuwa African Women Mobilization Commission.
Lafiya wai African Women Mobilization Commission.
Ka ba mu wani body spray da bai da tsada.
Kai ni ma ban fita ba.
A na yara ba akwai ba? Ne sauki ba.
Akwai ne ya yi fashi.
Ban da fashi akwai na yara. Suna da kaɗan kaɗan. Sai dai kuma zo za a yi gara mutum guda ɗaya a ɗauka. Amen. We are done from the hospital and we went to the market. We are done from the market and here we are. We want to spoil ourselves a little. After the hard work, we say let's come here and eat. This is Hajarat.
Hello, Queen Mother. How are you? Thank you very much for taking care of Ami. The mother was so happy.
And this is Ahmed's mother.
Okay.
This is Georgia.
Queen Mother, good afternoon, ma. We God bless you for what you have done for us. Thank you for what you have done for Ahmed.
And this is Yakolo. And this
Queen Mother.
And this is Ahmed.
Kakallamana.
And this is Ahmed. We are done from the hospital. Already he has finished eating his food. As you can see, his plate is empty. I think he has finished eating. With the hospital, from hospital we went to market. From market, we still go to a restaurant. We eat, and now we are back at Ahmed's house. We are together with Ahmed's parents, with Ajarat and Yakolo and Joy. She's one videoing us. So we want to say thank you. And here Ahmed's family are saying thank you. This is Ahmed's father.
Na gode sun ɗauka Ahmed sun je da shi asibiti sun yi mishi magani sun wuce da shi kasuwa sun yi mishi sayayya kaya sabulu da kayan sawa da su macilin da sabulu da kaya sawa da jika. Mun gode da taimakonsu. Allah ya saka musu kuma Allah ya taimaka su akan aikinsu. Mun gode musu. Mun gode musu sosai, mun gode sosai. Allah ya saka musu. Allah ya taya su aikin.
This is Ahmed's mother. Say thank you.
الله يبارك. شكرا معك. بدنا للشبيكي أخذ لنا مغاني، بدنا للسوق باي لا كاري، شغل ما سوت لنا معك. بس الله يبارك. شكرا. من غودي من غودي.
Ahmed, كيف me zaka faɗa?
Kakala ga akwai moda. Kai magana, ka ce thank you.
Thank you.
Kai mu. How I wish you hear the kind of prayers Ahmed's mother and Ahmed's dad were saying. They were praying for you. They say they have never seen you, but you remember down in Africa, in Nigeria in Borno State, down to their place here, you can see where they are living. They thought they got no one to care for them, but now they know that they are not alone. They were saying thank you to Omsi. They are saying thank you to you, Queen Mother, and they are saying thank you to Sabine. The person donates all these things to Ahmed. Ahmed is saying thank you to Sabine, thank you to Queen Mother, and thank you to Omsi. We want to show you what we bought for Ahmed. You can see these are the clothes. He's wearing another one. The change that remain, we are going to give Ahmed's mother to buy something for Ahmed, maybe in the morning before he goes to school. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all of you who have put a smile on this young man's face. I'd like to urge you to please don't forget that you can be the source of good in the world. You can help bring, instead of you sitting back and saying, well, there's nothing I can do, yes, the world is it's a crazy place right now. There's so many good things we can speak about the world, and certainly a lot that leads to room for desire for us to, you know what I'm trying to say. There is room for us to do better things, good things, not just focus on what we cannot do. We urge you to please join us as we help these young people. You can be a part of it. If you want to know what you can do, where you can go to make a donation, or to adopt one of these kids, to sponsor one of these kids, not adoptive, I'm sorry, to sponsor one of these kids, you can go to AfricanWomenCommission.net, AfricanWomenCommission.net. If you go there, you will see the link to child sponsorship. And you don't have to give too much. Even $10 a month, that's all you can do. Even $5. What we do is we accumulate so much money. If a child accumulates up to $100, then we use that. That's a consistent amount that we expect them to have, because that's when the amount is meaningful in Nigeria. So I urge you. I will be so thrilled to go to the website AfricanWomenCommission.net and see all these individuals who are interested in helping. If you can't help, perhaps you can refer us to somebody who can help. There are so many children waiting for this kind of love, and we're just so happy that we are able to be a part of change. Not sitting around and talking about what cannot be done, but instead we're doing something to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, or just talk about the problem and not do anything about it. Also, I'd like you to go to our GoFundMe page, which is where we're raising funds for feeding for IDPS camp. IDPS means internally displaced persons, and there's so many of them. As a matter of fact, it's gotten worse in Nigeria in particular. Nigeria is not the only place we're working, but we're focused on Nigeria right now before we go elsewhere. We have flooding. There's so much flooding. Whole cities have gone underwater. So that's more internally displaced people that need help. So if you can find it in your heart to go and make a donation of any amount, that's just the thing. People think that they have to make so much. It's little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Just a little bit that you can do can help. Again, the topic of this program is that we are not going to sit back and just talk about what the problem is. We are supposed to be a part of the solution. Somebody here says, DOC says, I will be donating. Thank you. We appreciate you, because as you can see, when we talk about what we're doing, it's serious stuff. We're doing it. We're not keeping, the organization does not keep a single penny of what we make. Everything goes for the care of the individuals. No overhead. We don't take any money for overhead. OMSI does not. The only thing is a little bit for the people who are going to the market and buying the food and doing all those things. That's about it. But everything else goes to take care of the people that we're supposed to take care of. So over 75 to 80% of what we raise goes to the child directly. Everything else goes to the directors who are there, who are monitoring what's going on with the program. So please don't hesitate. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dee. And I'm urging all of you to please go again to the website and see what you can do. This program, I hope that you learned certain things from this program. You took some things that added it to your repertoire, some of the things that you need to do instead of being focused on what you cannot do, focused on the fact that life is happening to you. I hope that you learned a few little tips on how you can overcome those challenges. Yeah, it happened to you. So what? You can you can overcome it. Many people, as a matter of fact, as I said earlier, you are where you are today because you overcame so much. Otherwise, you would have been dead. So you being here is because you were able to channel, to weave and bob and get out of the way of the challenges and know how to climb that mountain top one step at a time. That's why you're where you are. So if you want to climb further, stay with it. Don't give up. Keep going. Life is not fair. That's what they say. We hear that all the time. But then nobody ever said it was going to be fair. You can overcome it. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve if you put your heart to it. If you develop a sense of humor and not see everything so bad, change your mindset. Don't think everything is designed to hurt you. Use some of your experiences, learn from them so that you can go from the valley up to the mountaintop. It is my pleasure and honor, as always, to have you participate in this program. And my phone number, I want to know, just go to the Facebook page, go to the website. My phone number is there. You can get in touch with me, and I hope that you do so. Again, thank you so very much. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday on the Ndumodu show. Take care, all of you. Bye-bye.